Hello, hello. It's me, Cynthia,
I'm
and
Azalea.
Azalea. And this is our Green Girl Studios Magic Hour Wednesday edition. What do you have there, young daughter?
I'm making cinema roll from Hello Kitty, Jumbo Edition. I'm almost done, and I wanted to show my progress. I started it last night.
I was going to say, didn't we just buy that thread?
She bought me the yarn yesterday.
We went to Joann's to see what was happening. We heard that Joann's was closing, so we decided to go and check it out and see what was happening. And it was closing, and the yarn was, what was it, 25% off?
It was, I
It's
think,
not,
a little bit more.
or maybe it was more. But she got a few balls of that plush white, super soft. What do they call that?
It's like it's Bernat baby blanket material.
Oh, so it's for a blanket, so it's extra plush. Hello, my friends. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, hello. Hello, Cherie. Hello, June. Yes, we were crocheting. No, are you crocheting or are you knitting?
I'm crocheting. I was knitting my Hello Kitty and crocheting my cinema roll.
I think crochet lends itself more to that type of thing. When I've seen it knit, it's cute, but it seems like it seems like
it takes forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
I regret it a little bit, but I'm gonna go through with it and finish it.
Yeah, you'll be faster crocheting it. Hello, Kalite. Happy Magical Wednesday. Yes. So today, oh wow. I thought they were all closing. So at least there's like a few that will be around. 500 out of 800 are closing. Wow, that's something. That's, what do you do? How are we supposed to buy our fabrics?
I don't know.
You know, Joann has until they close. You know what I bought? I bought this cotton velvet. It's super plush and thick. It's like, it's almost like a mole's fur. It's a dark gray. And Azalea said, you already have that. And I was like, well, I'm guessing I'll have some more. And that kind of talk is why we have, if I were to flip this camera around and you took a gander at the amount of fabric that I have, then you would be like, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. Because I don't want to say that what's a word that we're not going to say?
Hoarder.
I'm not going to say a hoard fabric because I like to think of it more like I am cultivating a collection of fine fabrics. Some of them are not that fine, but there are some that are. I have wool, fake fur that is for stiff bears. I ordered it from Scotland, I don't know how many years ago, and I got it out to look at it, and I keep it rolled, and I was like, what will I make with this? What's going to be made? I haven't made anything with it yet. Actually, Azalea made me a Marty cat with that fur, and it is pretty plush. It's pretty nice. I wanted to take it with me on our trip so I could have it to hug it, and I was like, wait a minute. How upset would I be to discover that this was gone and I left it in an airport? And I was like, pretty upset, so I'm going to leave it home. I didn't want to have that feeling. Oh, hello, Connie Pasternak. She's neighbors, not like direct neighbors, but neighbors in Asheville. Hello, Ann Gardan. Hello. Oh, and I see Melanie says, you are a collector of fine things. Yes, I am. Sometimes I feel like I'm a dragon sitting on my hoard of treasure.
Like in The Hobbit.
Just like in The Hobbit. Not just like in The Hobbit, because it's not piled up all around me.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm looking around. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff piled up. But it's in neat piles, and I know where everything is-ish. Yeah, hello, Cecilia. Hello, Kathy. Yeah, so what I thought we'd do tonight is let's start a clasp for these necklaces I've been making. I've been making all these necklaces, and you know what I've been doing? I've been not finishing them. They're just strands that look real pretty and good. Like this one, I made this one. This is the one I've been carrying around like in my pocket. I mean, I put it in a little pouch so it doesn't get messed up. But I take it out sometimes and I'm like, what? Look at that color shift.
Do you have a butterfly toggle?
I
know you have butterfly You have a butterfly myth. You have a butterfly button.
No, I want to do some kind of clasp thing for this. I want to make a clasp for this.
Well, I was just saying maybe,
Specifically for this, so that when
what's
I
the vibe
add
that
it-
you're thinking of?
when I add it to this necklace, it is complete. This is how long it's going to be. So this is the one I always wear. Y'all know that's standard. And then this is that fine silver, you know, that chain I was showing when I was showing those Herkimer diamonds. So this is how this is going to sit. Let's see. I'm going to take off my jacket. This is a heated jacket, so it's nice and warm. I think that's a good length. What do you think? You think it's a good length?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good length. Anyway. Yeah. And also, I don't like a directional clasp that has to be in the back. I like a clasp that's like, I'm going to flip this camera on so we can get at it. Is that a chainmail bracelet? You know, my friend Debbie, is that? No, Denise. I have a new friend named Denise. So she makes these. She's like a fashion designer in New York City, and she moved down to retire in Asheville. And I think she did makeup. Do you remember? She did something, some fashion, either photography or jewelry, and lived in New York for many years. And she's friends with Joanne. It was kind of funny because we were neighbors at a show pretty recently, and I was like, "Oh, you know my friend Joanne," and she's like, "Oh, I do know Joanne." And that was like our in. Okay, so
Joanne,
a marathon of lives today, but I need a nap. But I can awake for this life. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you. I'm sitting here reading these comments, and it's on me. I need to turn that camera around. All right. Okie dokie. Here we are. Hello, Katney. Hello. Says, hi, Zolia.
hi.
All right, got my wax kit. This is my wax burner, and it has, just fell down. What I got? Oh. It has denatured alcohol in it. I was I knocked down one of these spools. I was loading up two of these nylon threads. I had them going. And I glued them together with fray check. Sometimes I just open the bottle. This is a trick of mine. I'll show this. You take the cap off. This is a one that I'll do if I don't feel like going over it. And I just had this sitting here, so that's why I'm showing it again. In case you didn't know how I did the knotting. I was prepping this earlier because I had some of these beads that I wanted to show. I had them for last week's live. They are from our Tucson event. So I was going to use mine to make a necklace. So I just popped that thing on. And the way I take it off is I bend it. I take the lid and I bend it like this. And that's how I take the top off. And then to put it back on, you just leave it in there. And then you just keep screwing it down and it eventually pops back into place. But you dip it in and then you can get it really saturated. And so I already did this once. And I'm just going over it one more time. And I'm going to let it harden off the edge of the table. And so you see the two things are being glued together. And they will harden into a needle. You can use whatever glue that will harden. This fray check just works good. And it works fast. About 2 minutes. So it's pretty good. All right, the only thing is that you get a little bit of stuff on your fingers, that's the only thing. All right, so let's see. I have my ruler here. So what I just showed you with dipping the nylon threads is the precursor, the beginning of how I make this. And this is what I want to make a clasp for. Is this. So what I usually do is I usually use a button or something. So this is a type of thing I'll do. This is one of my favorites, is a coin. And it works well. So you only need one component to keep track of. Sometimes it can be kind of annoying to, when you have two-part clasp, to have to find the other half of it. That to me is a little bit annoying, even though I have a bunch. Clasps, you get the idea. Like this is one that if I lost this part of it, it can no longer be a clasp. You know what I mean? Now it's just, or even worse, this side, because then what? You know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of a one-part clasp, kind of like a one-part mold. Oh, hello, Tina. Hello. Hello, my friends. Hello, Kimberly. Oh, I'm behind. I see some comments. Oh, thank you. We do have a very talented family. Thank you. All right. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about directional clasp. This should be where it's either on the back of the neck. So what you see is these, like I kind of imagined I made this kind of wide. So it could be like a 3-strand. So it's wide enough to accommodate 3 full strands. And at the back of your neck or at the side, doesn't look as good on the side, but on the back of the neck, that looks pretty good, I think. But that's directional. So it can only, I feel like that looks good in that one way. I also started this class. This is one we worked on, and I don't love it yet. So this light back a hair. Okay. This is one that is like an E-clasp. Where did it go? This is one that I've made in the past, and I've done a couple different versions of it. So this works really good for a wide bracelet. See, when you have something wide and you have like leather or something, and I like it. This works good. You could just go without the leather right through here and just go straight beads. But I feel like the leather is a little less like, I don't know, like the tactile quality of beads going straight into this, to me, it feels like it's like playing with fire, because it's like 2 hards together means something's going to get broken. That's just my thoughts on that. You could go that way, but I feel like having a little bit of a buffer, or if they're pretty small beads maybe, or metal beads that have a little bit more sturdiness, than kind of, I think of like these as being kind of fragile glass. I must have changed some reason. I don't know why. There's some other, like, I hate it when that happens, when there's threads loose. Oh, the downside to that glue is it gets on your fingers, and then you have the, and when I say downside, it's not really that big of a downside, because I don't mind pulling that glue off of my hands. To me, that's fine. So here's how, like when I need something, this is, you guys are going to see the main way I make things. I look at what I have that needs a thing. For example, this necklace needs a clasp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, hey, what would work well with this shape? So I know that rounds look good. So we could just pretend like that. We'll put that off to one side. So it kind of like, it's functioning as the pretend clasp. So that would work well, with the round. So I can make another type of disc, but I kind of have a bunch of discs, and I like the idea of it being a one-stop type situation. I'm going to check to make sure that this is not in line of the camera, because I don't want it. This gets hot. So this is inside this beautiful hand-blown glass thing. This is not part of it. This is just melted wax. I'm going to put it in the corner, checking to make sure that's not too close. It's not. All right. It's a little too high of a flame. I'm going to adjust it down. This is how you adjust it down. Just pull it like this. And see it? You can see it getting smaller. The flame getting a little smaller. And that's how you do it. All right. I'm going to find something in my treasure box. I have like 10 of these boxes or more. Actually, probably more of in progress works. So what do I want? What do I want? I was kind of thinking about, there's a couple of options. I was kind of thinking about a ring type situation so that I could hang a tassel off of it. Because I thought this would look really pretty with, let's see, where did it go? There was one in here. Something like, maybe like this. But then it becomes like a two-part. You know what I mean? Then I need something for this side. And in the past, I've used birds, keys, like a feather shape. This is kind of like mushroom shape. You can see it's kind of different, you know. I actually don't know what, I don't remember making that, but I know that I did because it's in this box. Let's see. All right, so since I don't have a shape in progress that I want to use, like I have several in here. Like I have this kind of connector and I never finished it. It was on my, you know, things to do shape to finish. And sometimes things get made fast. Sometimes things don't, you know, sometimes things don't happen. Like this didn't happen. And partly because I think it'd be way heavy. Oh, hello, Robin. It's our friend Robin. Okay, so check this out. This is supposed to be a sea anemone, and then here's a fish. And so you can do it both ways. So this is the sea anemone closed. I haven't detailed it yet, but they have a kind of an interesting texture with these. I guess it's a close. I don't know what they call it when it's kind of closed up. If it has a name. Open and close? I don't know. So it would still work. You just go through that hole. And then this side, they're open. Actually, I think it just looks better this way. But if it flips over, as clasps are wont to do, like from your collar or being just, you know, gravity, it may flip. But I like it to have a back side sometimes. So I'm going to move this over because it's awfully close to this camera. I have a paranoia of that happening. You never know. But that clasp seems... See, that's way too big. So a lot of times, things that I make happen because I need it. So that is one of the ways that things get made in my practice of working, is what's necessary. What will be the thing. And part of me kind of feels like this could be a flower, like a almost, what do you think, Azalea? Like a flower clasp might be pretty?
Yeah, I don't think you have many of those, do you?
I do have several flower clasps, but
I can remember the bee flower one.
Do you think it should be more a button? What do you guys think? Like, if there's any thoughts on a clasp, like I want to do something like this. So in my mind, I'm going to make something that is, it could be, all it has to do is hold like perform like a button. So it could be like this. This is one I'm working on too. This would have been a pretty one, I think. Yeah, that looks good too. But at this point, I'm thinking, I don't know. It's an interesting question. What I think I'll do is just start making something and seeing what happens, which is my favorite way to work, is to look at the problem. The problem is I need a clasp for this, and the solution is to just get in there and make a shape. So I have this little tile. This is from Lowe's or Home Depot. It is a piece of tile. It's nice and like heat resistant. So if I put something down on it, this melted wax, this little piece of wax, then it is not going to break or stick overly. So what I can do is I can draw the shape. So maybe I can do like an arrow type shape. Let's just see. So I'm going to draw with this wax. This is like the very first step. Okay, so I'm making this line, and I'm going to make kind of like a little arrow shape. I've been playing with this shape in my sketchbook. Yeah, that looks pretty good. As far as like, you know, you can draw with it. So I think of it like 3D ink. And what's good is you can layer this up. And there's a lot of things about wax that are great. You can just make your master out of this, and it's readily available. You can order it through any jewelry supply. I make this blend out of pellets from not Auto Fry. I can't remember the name of the wax brand. I think it's Carecast, Kerr, and I mix red and blue to get this sort of maroon color. And the reason is the red on its own is a really bright. Here you can see the difference in coloration here. This one has more blue in it. This is just probably way more red. And the blue on its own, I don't have any samples of it. But, and like this fork thing that I'm making, you can see the two different colors of wax. There's a little bit of the darker blue. And each kind of wax has benefits that you might not be, like if you didn't work with them both, you might not know. Like the blue one seems more plasticky, like when you melt it, it stretches a little bit. And the red has, it's more brittle. So if you break it, it snaps. So mixing the two together, you get something that has a little bit more, like, you know, it's a little bit more bendy. You know what I mean? It has a little bit more give. All right, so that is a shape. It's already set up. It's not hot anymore. And so what you can do, let's see. Whoop, flick that right off of there. So if this is wiped off and doesn't have any wax crumbs on it, it will just pop free. See that? So as it is now, that's not a good connection. Or that's not a good, like if you just left it like that, that'd probably break in the mold, because you can see where the lines of wax are not. I'm going to back up the truck a little bit, or I'm going to get in there a little tighter. All right, that seems a little bit closer. Carolyn says, I like connectors too. Yeah, I also like connectors. I like connectors. Let me take this necklace and show. So like this, I made this in fine PMC however long ago. You see that? That's a good connector. I love a link. A link is useful. Oh, so check out, there's some tourmaline crystals and some Herkimer diamond, or this is not Herkimer diamond, this one. That's just regular. This is a type of a quartz that has teeny little rutiles. I can't think of the name of it. I have to look it up. So this is a mixed chain. I have two different kinds of, actually it's probably closer to 3 different kinds of chain on there. I got this, I didn't have a lot left. I only had a couple of, like a foot or two, and I stretched it out connecting it with some of this pencil chain, or not pencil, paperclip chain. Came out pretty good. It is, let's see, there was a crystal on here. So here's a little Herkimer diamond. A lot of times you see them where they are broken in half, like they're like half drill or more stubby. And I managed to find, I just thought I would, while I have this here sitting here, we have Azalea restocked the Shopify to add a few more strands of this. These are Herkimer diamonds that are drilled this way. And they are extra delightful because they have little black rutiles running through the middles.
Oh, and I was actually able to finally sort the Trunk Show collection page now, so you'll see all the newest stuff first, instead of having to scroll down a bunch. I'll drop a link for that now.
While I'm sitting here thinking about that, we have a few of this kit left. Actually, in a minute, I'm going to show this clasp before I get on with that. Or this clasp. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time so that I'm not going over. All right. Yeah, I'll do that in a second. I was just so like when you mentioned the connector, that made me think of it. So yes, you check that out. There's that connector, and here are some really juicy. That's that juicy hair comb. So I don't know. Did you drop a link for that? Yes, you did. So you don't have to scroll. Oh, hello, Sam, my son, my other son. I get that. Put that out of the way. I'm just looking at this bracelet like a weirdo. Yeah, so if you want to check out what we restocked, we had some restock on this. This is that sunstone. Check out how juicy that is. I want to work with that, but I'm having the moment. You know when you have too many things that you want to do? I picked out too many things, and now I was like, I want to work on this, but I said I was going to do that. So there you are. I'm going to heat this tool up. It's a steel tool, stainless steel. I don't know if it's actually, is it stainless? It's not stainless. This is not stainless because I think stainless doesn't want to behave like this.
Yeah, I think it's just those.
Just steel.
Steel bars.
Steel resists being hit.
I remember I used to make tools like that with Dad. He showed me how to do it.
Hello, Wendy. Hello. Sam wants that sunstone. Listen, that's one of the few stones. I'm gonna like adjust the brightness. It seems it's so bright. What is happening here? Maybe I'll do this.
Oh yeah, that hand cut sunstone. I thought he would like that.
Turn that back. So that's a little bit easier on the eyes, I feel. Yeah, the sunstone. I get to be a kind of a greedy dragon with that. I'm not gonna lie. It is something I really like. You sometimes see it more cloudy. What I like about it is that it's cloudy like an opal or like Mexican fire opal. That's what the vibe is. It's like Mexican fire opal, but sunstone. I bought some fire opal in Tucson when we were set up at the Pueblo, and it was pretty delightful. I ended up keeping most of it. All of it. I know that's one of the things I get kind of greedy with. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I don't know what stones do y'all get greedy with? Like if it can make rainbows, then I tend to be greedy with it. I shouldn't put my finished ones over here like this. It's like a baiting disaster. I put them over to one side. This is kind of an A shape. I don't know if I like that. I was thinking more like an arrow. Maybe I can do it where I have more of a pronounced V shape or more of an arrow shape. Because I like the idea of this looking kind of like an artifact. I like the idea of that. I'm going to have to make sure this doesn't mean something weird like in the symbolism. I have a couple of books on symbolism. You don't know what you don't know. It's good to look it up.
Have you ever accidentally made something?
No, but because I look it up. I don't want that feeling. All right. Yeah. Oh, Wendy says opals. Yes. Moonstone and silverite are a couple. Yep. Sam says labradorite is my precious. Yeah, I get that. I love labradorite. But you know what? At this point, I've got so much of it. I'm not as greedy with it as I was once. So let's test the look of it. Let's test the look of this class. So it's just a moment of testing. We're not going to go and finish it off, of course. That would be like the world's fastest clasp making ever. But this is like a good, if you're ever trying to make your own pieces and you want to send it off to be cast, wax is the way. I know that people will want to use polymer clay or plastics, but polymer clay is very limiting. A for appetite. Tanzanite. Yeah. Robin, you named it. Tanzanite's one of my weak points as well. Opals for me get me in trouble. I get in trouble with opals. I'm not gonna tell you otherwise. What's this? Caroline, I'm so tempted to get the diamond beads. Yeah, well, I probably won't get them again because I bought a lot. I didn't buy a lot. I bought a strand, but it was a scary purchase because you don't know what people are going to get or if they're going to even buy it or if they follow your vision. You know, sometimes you're stuck with it. And I sold a few. And when I say stuck with it, I don't mind being stuck with them because I will just look at them. So this is what I have so far. Let's take a look. How do we feel about this? And so this is one of the first ways I'll make a clasp. I will live with the look of it for a minute, and I'll say, hey, how does that look? Does that look interesting? Does it look unusual? Or does this look like a basic clasp that we don't need to recreate? I don't want to make anything that's already in existence because then you just go buy it, right? You don't need to make, you don't need to make, what you call it, what already exists. So that looks pretty good. But again, it could be better. It could be, I don't know. Let's do another one. What do you think? Let's do what kind of shape is it? More of a C shape? Although I just made a C clasp. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. And I'm going to draw another one. I don't know why I made this king-size flatbed truck here. Look at that. What is the purpose of this? What was I going to make? Oh, I remember now. I remember. It took me a minute. I was like, why did I make this? This was what I was going to do. This flapping action. To make like a oyster palette. That's what the purpose of this. But I don't know. That seems kind of random. And I was just about to melt it down. I didn't remember what the purpose of it. Sometimes I'll make shapes and I'll be like, what is this? What was I thinking about? What am I doing? Found this little piece. That is not, I don't know, I kind of wanted a bar clasp. So that's kind of interesting. Melanie, what did Melanie say here? You need a mini cooler for the wax shapes. A mini cooler. I'll have to think about that. Melanie said, you said a flower is what you want to do the arrow, but maybe in a snapdragon or lily of the valley shape.
Smart.
Just thinking. Yeah, that's cute. Oh, yeah, that is cute. Let me think about that further. Let's see. What if... let's think about this. I love this shape. So maybe what I'll do is make it a little bit skinnier. So basically, y'all, this is a lot of times when I'm doing my R&D. I sometimes will tell you I have no idea what I'm going to make. And I just look at the thing in question, this necklace, and I think about it. And that's how I come up with my designs for a specific project. Usually I'll say, hey, do I want it to be like inspired by a mineral? Like, would this look good as almost like a faceted type thing? Like this was an idea that I was working on to make sort of a faceted stone shape. This is also big size. So I probably won't do anything with this. It'll be just something I'm, kind of shaping out. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to alter this shape a bit. And I'm getting this tool hot. There's this flame. If you're just joining me, this is my alcohol lamp, and it has a fire on it. I'm keeping it out of the frame because the ambient heat that comes off of this, you can feel it. My hand right now is hovering about a foot away from the top of it, and it's hot, like level with the phone. So I'm checking to make sure that the phone doesn't get hot, because I would hate for Azalea's screen to crack or something from this.
No.
Maybe I'll make it more organic shaped, kind of like bamboo maybe. You just never know. Sometimes it's fun to just kind of play with the wax and think about things that are shapes that are useful or pretty. And right now, this is kind of giving me a feeling of like a paving stone. Beautiful. Oh, so I took some of these. I had some extras of these rubies. And I love the shape. I was going to show it to y'all. Look at these. So some of these had some narrow slices, but they weren't that narrow. They're kind of like thick steak of ruby. And I think on that strand, there was a couple strands that had some real thin ones. And what's fun about these, Azalea just set up, I found another strand in that somehow jumped into my personal collection. I don't know how that happened where there were two in my personal collection. It was kind of a mystery because we were looking at things and Azalea was like, hey, I thought we had more of this. And I was like, oh, what? Huh? I mean, why would I like these juicy rubies that have a massive, look at the size of that hole, by the way. You could get in there. What I like about this is that I could do this with those. That's what I'm talking about. I could go in and then come back out. So the passage of that. Oh, Pat says, what about a sarcophagus shape? That's interesting. Oh, I like Caroline. Maybe ridges on the top part of the arrow or like the old arrowheads. That's pretty cool. Yeah, beef that up. That could be like an old school arrowhead. Let's see if this works. Let's just try it. We don't have to finish it, but we can try it. Yeah, I like how these, so they get this by using a cloth polisher. So it's the last step when you're polishing a stone is that last final polish. Oh, that'd be kind of interesting. Let's see. I need a bead to go on the outside of that. Maybe I can put like a smaller little gemstone. Oh, one of these. These are vermeil plated silver, gold plate. Yeah, this will work. Okay, I'm going to go pass through it again. So this is that glued side. Maybe I'll just leave it alone. Oh, I should have done it the wide side. See, look, there's a wide side and a narrow side, so I'll redo it. But I got this thing going. Let's see. It'd be pretty. Oh, shoot, I should have put some of these. So I'm going to redo this. But maybe I'll use it for another necklace. Look at that, how pretty that looks as a clasp. It's wide enough, I think. Could be wider. Could be wider. I'll find a wider one. But I love how these, and that's a good, I mean, they're rubies are freaking $20 or $24, whatever it was. So good. Anyway, I listed some more because Azalea said I wasn't being shareful. That's a word from her youth when I would keep some of the beads to myself because when she was little, she had highfalutin. And when I mean little, I mean still high taste. I said, you can pick out some beads. She's probably like 6. You know what she went for? She went for rubies and my Anne Choi. I thought surely this child will pick out plastic pony beads from the bottom shelf. You know what she did? She dragged a chair over and she went top shelf. Just like in a bar, my studio has top shelf and bottom shelf. Bottom shelf is the stuff that's like plastic. I don't actually, yeah, plastic meaning like vintage. Vintage. Taste, yeah, I mean, I was like, are you joking me right now? She picks out an Anne Choi bead, the like most expensive one. I was like, all right, so let me rephrase this. Let me rephrase. All right, so she picked out, and I was like, all right, well, fine. So I let her pick out some that had some. You know, she used to go through the bead show, and she'd make out like a bandit, walking around, visiting her friends at the show. You probably don't remember doing that, do you?
I do remember. I remember running. I remember being able to run around.
She, at age like 6, she ran free and wild with her bestie Tara.
And me and Tara go make our eyes real big at the people, the vendors. And they
You used to go.
stuff.
Do you remember going and seeing Rashawn and Kevin? Because they were like 3 booths down, and you would go over, and you'd keep coming back with your pockets full of stuff. I'd say, "What'd they give you now?" She'd have like expensive hand blown glass beads. And they're like, "Got to get the next generation."
Yeah, they used to put trays on the table and be like, "You can pick a couple."
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I remember.
So nice.
I still remember there was this handmade, like, blue glass bottle that was a pendant for a necklace. And it was probably like $150.
Ugh.
And it was like ocean themed. It was very, very pretty.
Yeah, I made her go walk it back. I said, "Did you?" I thought she took it because I was like, "There's no way anybody gave this hand blown glass." And I walked her back and I said, "She says that this was a gift. Is that true?" And they were like, "Yes, it is. This girl, she's been looking at that all afternoon."
Yeah, I kept coming back to look at it to make sure nobody else got it. And then they were like, "You can just have it."
Yeah, that was pretty cute.
I still have it.
Wendy says, "My mom used to yell at me for the same reason as we have impeccable taste."
Well, I didn't get yelled at for it.
Oh, well, I don't yell at her.
No. You would just be like, "Huh, you are like me with expensive taste," and then that was it.
Mm.
And it's still true to this day. All my stuff, the jewelry I wear is fancy.
You know, I said I only wanted to make a 1-part mold or 1-part toggle. Here, look at me making a 2-part. Right after I just said, "Come on, Thornton, what's going on?"
I was able to make my whole cinnamon roll with both arms and legs with one whole complete skein.
Wow.
But the only thing I just remember is I thought, "Oh my gosh, I made a whole plushie," but then I forgot he has the iconic
tail?
cinnamon roll tail. So I guess I have to go open up that second skein to make the tail.
So I'm just heating this tool up, and this is one of the fastest ways to make. This is a trick here that nobody taught me this. I taught myself this, and it's fast. Usually you build stuff. I'm building it. If there were other jewelers, they might be saying, "Hey, Thornton, that is not traditional." So I'm holding this. It's like it's liquid, but if you hold it, get in there close, you can see. Let's see how it's let's see that. Maybe this could be a little arrow. Let's see where it's darker colored. It's more. It hasn't set up. Oh, so we've been talking. A friend of mine. We've been sitting here discussing retreats and doing. A friend of mine was like, "Why don't you?" Actually, when I say a friend, I think I've had like 50 friends say, "You don't need to provide housing," because that's been my drawback. Because I want everybody to have it together so that we're all together like a big sleepover. And they're like, "Listen, just start with your beautiful location that just holds everybody that you can craft in. It doesn't have to be for sleeping." Because that's been the hardest part, is finding a place that can have individual rooms. Because you don't want to have it where it's like they'll say, Airbnb will say, "Oh, well, this will sleep 10, but it's 4 rooms." So you kind of, unless you're sharing a bed, maybe you're not that tight with your friend. Maybe you want your own room. So that's been like, for me anyway, kind of, I don't know if I'd say stumbling block, but it gives me pause. So anyway, we're talking about having a Joshua tree in the desert in October, and maybe maybe early October, we go to Hawaii and have a day workshop. How do y'all feel about that? How do you feel about Joshua Tree and Hawaii? How about a leaf with a little nibble and a caterpillar? Kalita, that's so cute.
That is a really good idea.
Yeah, that's so cute. This is kind of like a hot dog. But I was thinking, like, maybe, I don't know. You know how sometimes you just don't know what you're doing? You know, sometimes I say that being in all sincerity when I'm making a piece, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm just sort of messing with the wax. And I guess I should not openly say, hey, I have no clue what I'm going to make. But that's part of the process is being real and saying, hey, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I do. And I have notebooks and notebooks filled with ideas. But sometimes you just don't want to do those for whatever reason. All right, this is an idea I've been messing with. I say that I didn't know, but it's been kicking around in my mind. So what does that count as? As like maybe not kind of, I guess, a direction. It's a direction I'm going. All right. I think that's looking pretty neat. So maybe it's like, maybe I'll make this side bigger. Maybe it's kind of a modern shape. I wanted something that had almost that could function as like almost like a bracelet ID. You know, if you've seen that kind of shape, that tabular shape. And it could be, there's a lot of potential for that. Could be the sarcophagi shape. Like it'd be cool to have a little skeleton situation in there, kind of like the catacombs. All right, let's smooth this out. Yeah, part of me was thinking about a really super modern looking clasp. But then that, I don't know. Then later I'm like, do I want that? It's not decorated enough. And it's funny, I have some clasps that are like my best sellers for years and years, and it's like it's called branch toggle clasp, and it's like the old standby, and I've made those for years, and it's like on my most popular one, but it's not it's just like super simple. Caroline says, bring our sleeping bags. Yeah.
A retreat that you get to go to and stay there with everybody is fun. Like when we go to the Pearls retreat and you get to stay up late with your new friends and talk about stuff, and you can go to bed whenever, you don't have to worry about driving.
Yeah, that is fun. That is pretty fun.
Finding a location like a building like that, I mean, they have retreat buildings all over the place.
They do. There are no shortage.
Renting one out would be fun.
Mm-hmm. The only thing is it's just it.
I mean, if Pearls can do it.
Yeah, the Pearls is also working where it's like they're just doing it for community. Like, you know, there's no like they cook. Like we're taking one in March. We're going on this retreat. It's with our local yarn store. And they rent out, I think it's at Lake Junaluska. They rent out the house and they just divide it up. And then Rick does the cooking. And then someone else, like everybody has to pitch in. So that's why it's not technically, you know.
They have these clipboards that they have on the wall by the kitchen that you can sign up for chores. And they ask that since you're there, sign up for at least one, you know, at least one while you're there. And a lot of people will, you know, you can either sign up to clean up after dinner or do the dishes or, you know, put away the chairs or stuff like that. They have a whole list of like things to pitch in, and people, they fill that list. People volunteer to help. So, I mean, we could do something similar because then I think everybody would just be happy to be there.
It's possible. There's no... So another thing when you're making these is that you want to make sure that your pieces fit. So as I'm sitting here, this is like super boring. It will be filed and shaped, but you can see that you want to make sure everything fits. If it doesn't fit, then you have to either make the hole bigger or the toggle bigger or skinnier. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm coming up with. These are the things, the basic things that I came up with tonight is this sort of tag shape that would hook up like this, and the beads are like laying like this, or there is this arrow shape that you would use a loop with, that you would have a one-stop loop. I feel like this is a little too fragile, you know, a little too on the skinny side. So maybe what I'll do is beef it up a bit. I'm just going to melt that down to heat that up. I'm going to add some more from the edge of my lamp. All right. It's looking pretty good. Maybe a little thicker. So you see how it's like, it's just like, basically it's like 3D ink work, but you can use files and things. Yeah, so there were so many ideas for our retreat. We're like, so would people want to do metal clay? Would people want to do like waxwork? It was very hard. And then my friend Joanne, she had a good idea. She was like, well, you can have different ones. And I was like, oh, of course. You don't have to try and cram it all into one weekend, which is I'm always trying to do that. Whenever I go anywhere, I'm over enthusiastic about packing a ton of stuff. This actually, as I look at it, it could be a flower, or like this could actually be like a leafy thing. Could be like a leaf. You see how it has that shape already? So anyway, that could be the purpose of that one. That goes like this. But it would be like that. Let's see the end of this. I don't know. Which do you like better? Do you like the one part of this, kind of like an arrowhead? Or do you feel like the tab is a good one? You can let us know in the comments. That's what we can wonder about.
I always like a 2-part, but then a 1-part is easy because then you can make a loop on one side and then you only have to attach one piece to the other side.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to show, since I have a few minutes before we wrap up. So here's that piece of the 2 pieces of nylon that I have glued together onto one. It's become one needle. Pat says arrowhead. Cecilia says arrowhead. So a lot of people are going for arrowhead. Oh no, when I say a lot, I mean there's 2 for arrowhead. 1, Marion is 1 for the tab. 2-1 so far. Jessica likes the tab. I'm going to figure out what should I complete. So it's for this style of necklace. That's the question. This could also have something, like it could be anything in that width, and I could also make it longer, which could be kind of interesting. Another vote for the arrowhead. You know what? I thought for sure this would be the winner. You never know what people are going to like. Isn't that the way it is? So far, it looks like it is by 1, the arrowhead. It was even. So I'm going to leave that there and maybe look at some of these beads. And I'm going to put some of these on for a few minutes. I'm going to set this down. So I'm going to put that whole strand here. Oh, and this is, I don't know if I showed, another vote for the arrowhead. What's under here? There we go. So this is the Tucson Mala kit. I don't know if I showed this. I'm going to get getting overheated. Okay. I'm going to turn my jacket off. You guys ever use a heated jacket? This vest has a little battery pack, and it keeps me warm, but sometimes it keeps me too warm.
That kit is called the Mystic Sunset Mirage.
Right, check this out. This one is interesting because I managed to find, this is gem grade lepidolite. So I was only ever able to find this in finished bracelets. You can ask Azalea. So that is that right there. And you rarely, and I mean, like when I say rarely, I mean this was the first time I ever saw it in strength. So I was pretty excited. I also found this agate. This is not dyed, by the way. None of these are dyed. Check out that pink swirl. There's clear in it. It is awesome. And this green, this is called green quartz, and it has inclusions. You can see it's like they're like frozen in place, and they move throughout. So it's not it's not sitting on the surface like you would think, oh, green quartz. Sometimes you've seen green quartz and it was actually dyed. This is not, because you can see it's like goes throughout. And this is the other thing that's pretty cool. Gem grade in the blue lepidolite. That was pretty rare. So some of these are pretty rare stones. Didn't want to lose that. Look at this one. Isn't that gorgeous? So this was inspired by the cactuses of the Tucson, like Saguaro National Forest. This is like the prickly pear that grows. This is a natural, this is not a dyed, it's from Madagascar. It's a rose quartz. It's a very dusky pink. This, though, is my favorite. I love these. It has almost like look at that color. These are just unusual stones. I was so happy to find this blend. I kept one. Usually I'll say I'll just take the leftovers, but I kept one, and I think Azalea kept one. Cecilia says, what's the name of that mix?
Mystic Sunset Mirage. It's on our trunk show page also.
It's on the trunk show page. And so you might say, oh man, it's kind of expensive, but some of these beads, you just cannot find them. And that's also, I would like to also mention, it is about 20% under the retail price. If we were to put that up, it came to a lot higher. And I thought, you know what, we're going to make this a little bit more affordable. So I'd not mark it full what would normally be the markup on that. Yeah, check that out. That's a nice little bead, that color. A lot of times finding purples and pinks in these shapes of beads, you see a lot of dyed things, but these are all natural colors. And you can for sure, and this is kind of interesting too. Check this out. It looked like black opal when I first saw it, because there are these weird flashes of green and cobalt blue. Isn't that cool? Like just a random flash. They're really pretty. I love them. And this really beautiful, this is a chocolate moonstone. I'm clutching them. But they just look magical together, all together. These are going to make a really beautiful necklace. So I'm going to put these down. Caroline says, show us the tab when you cast it so we can get an idea. I'm going to put some of these down, so I'm going to work with them. I didn't put them all out. There's some in here. I'm going to throw some more of these out. This is the full. So this, I cut them off of the hank before, and I kept some. Actually, it's an embarrassing amount that I kept, because I love them. Look at how big that hole is. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about the hole size on these beads. But if you make thread necklaces, or if you do wire wrapping, then you get it.
I mean, any kind of jewelry making, if you have to string a bead, then you'll understand the horrible feeling it is when you have everything.
When you got to
set up
sit
for
there
your
and
project,
try and
you start trying
try.
to string it, and then to realize that the holes are not properly drilled.
Yeah, it's very, very
get
frustrating.
Up and go dig for something smaller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like that story.
Optimizers on to string.
Yeah, well, I have to put my optimizers on anyway. These are pretty delightful. Let's see it. So we just restocked this. So I saw people. Oh, the other thing, man, I forgot the other thing that's we uploaded. So I had folks say, "Oh, there's no more of this," and so this was this is the green Prasiolite. I only took one bundle for myself. Isn't that amazing? Wait. Okay, 2 bundles for myself. Because, you know, they only had like 2 of these full strands left. So this is also, there's only 3 unless someone bought it. And this is not, oh yeah, this is not green kyanite. That is gem grade lepidolite in blue. I know. Delicious. Yeah, if you look at it, check it. You can see the schiller. That's the technical term for this chatoyance. Hmm. All right, let's see how it looks. Let's see if I can mix and match this. So I put all these Tucson things together on one plate. How pretty that is, man. So this, we just put them on. There's only 3. I kept some for me. Got them out of the private reserve. Also picked out some of these. These sold pretty much instantly, so I put more in there. And the same with these slices, did pretty well. So I know that I had a couple of emails asking if these would be restocked, and so we restocked. How many did we put up? 8? Almost 8 more.
Of which one?
The rondelles that are, look at the variety of color. Isn't that beautiful? That's ruby. So this is one type. These are the rondelles that are faceted all the way around. Beautiful. And they're different thicknesses. Some were a little different thick, like they were a little bit thinner. But yeah, I like them. And then these guys are more on a cool purple side. So I'm going to make a little pattern with and show you with my double needle. So that's a thread on that. This would be a good one for showing some of the clasp when I finish it, either the tab or the arrowhead. But it looks like people mostly like the arrowhead, so I don't know how much time I'll put into the other. I love these. They have a shampoo like swirl. Check that out. Isn't that crazy, that color? It's like, it starts off like this kind of like bitter orange swirling into a delicious, like almost like verdigris. It reminds me of the walls in Venice, where you can see the paint peeling on that edge where the waterline hits, and you can see generation after generation of different paint. It's pretty cool. I'm going to color shift this and see what happens. I put those. I like a mix in my necklaces of textures and shapes. Some people like to do only rounds. Some people like to do only flats or only rondelles. I like a good mix and match. You know, just to keep it interesting. I can't resist doing this. I know you guys are probably so tired of seeing me color shift. But listen, I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. So this is about half of that box poured over here. And this is the desert. What'd you call it again? I can't.
Mystic Sunset Mirage.
Oh, God, that's not dyed. That's just natural color. I looked right into their eyes. I'm like, are you telling me the truth right now? This is not, I don't want anything that's going to rub off, or I'm going to come back. And you don't want to see me coming back here. And they're like, we do want to see you. And I said, well, not like that.
Yeah, you don't want to see me coming back with one of your bags.
Yeah, you want to see me smiling
and
coming back with a like empty suitcase dragging behind me. That's that's the feeling we're going for. Okay, yeah, isn't this delicious? This juicy like combination. Yeah. And these are particular. Although I will say, be gentle with these gem grade lepidolites, because when they're stacked like this, sometimes if you're rough and you bank, I would put these for anything that's going to get hit. Earrings or necklace only, because when you have a stacked shape, because you want to have it like this, because that's the shiny part. You want it to do this. The only drag part is that the hole runs through this way, and they can chip off like the flats of the face. So you have to be careful. It's kind of like how you are careful with an opal so it doesn't get cracked. Well, you want to be careful to put those, and they work good as earrings and as a necklace. You don't have to have it. I mean, if you do use them as a bracelet, buffer them with 2 bigger on either side. That's how you deal with that. But like a little bit, like 2 or 3 millimeters bigger. All right, so here's what I have so far. Let's see how they string. These I know will string really well. And look, two strands of cord going through those like it's nothing. Oh, hello, gem lepidolite in olive. Yeah, when was the last time you saw that? Probably never. I'll tell you, you didn't see it because I've been looking, and I'm like a bloodhound when it comes to finding things. Like I ransacked the Tucson show looking for Shutukite, and then when I find it, I was like, listen, our money could be spent in other ways besides this super expensive, what looks like chrysocolla. You can just get really nice chrysocolla and pay those prices. Not to say that I'm anti spending money, because I'm not. I will get in there and buy the expensive ones.
Well, we just have to be more mindful when we're out there.
Yeah, I'm mindful.
I know you are.
Wendy says it does look like candy. Yeah. Kalite says, I love seeing how your colors flow. Thank you. Look how it's flowing onto this, and that's only like 2 minutes worth. Okay, maybe 4 minutes. Yeah, these, at first you're like, oh, is that really that interesting? Yes, it is. Beauty. I'm going to tuck one of those in there. And the cool thing is some of these have such a unique vibe, like that one is. That doesn't have anything that's like it that I know of. Peridot doesn't have that kind of, I mean, it's similar color as Peridot, but it's not quite like that saturated. Which I did buy some things that would make a really good kit. Took me a minute. So yes, so if you're looking at this, we sold out of this, but we refreshed it and added another 8 or 10 of this. I was reserving it for something else, but I thought, you know what? If I like it, other people are gonna like it. Look how delightful that is. I don't know if you can see it, but there's like glittering. It's a very soft, translucent or transparent because it's not. It has a little bit of the cloudiness that give it a milk glass vibe. Like this one has a little bit of that. But you'd think, oh, is it cloudy? But it has all like total, look how glittery that is. You see that? I think that'd be pretty. Wendy says it would be cool to see the bead next to the name of the stone. You know, Azalea did we do anything with that where you had the names of it? Did you actually post those pictures?
I did that for the Tucson mystery bundles, but I never edited those pictures to put the text on it because honestly, I forgot because I was shipping them. Because we had sold all the ones, and I can always make little things and like email them to people.
Let's just do it for
put it in like a newsletter or something.
Yeah, let's just show it so that if you bought it,
went and did this, here's the chart.
Yeah, in the mix.
I was really planning on doing it. I took pictures.
We do not have the manpower to separately bag and name everything, but we can do a chart. So much
plastic.
It does take up a lot of plastic.
Bag up individually.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of plastic and a lot of waste and a lot of time. So the more time it takes to make it and put it together, the higher the price is. So that's one of the reasons we like to keep the price. That's one of the things. If you look at gemstones and you're looking at these prices being split, be aware that there's time in sitting here and splitting them into these portions. If you bought the full strand, you're still you would have to pay. Like we're not marking it. Like there isn't a huge amount that we're marking it to make up for this time it's being separated. Yeah, we'll make a chart, but I'm not labeling everything separately. Because then that's the price just went up. Well, it's true. I mean, that's the thing. It's the time and the effort comes from somewhere. You know, that's one of the unfortunate things about, you know, that could maybe if you had a bigger company and more employees, but since it's me and Azalea and Greg, there is not a lot of time for some of the more, I don't know. I guess it's a fun detail. It's a nice detail.
Well, I know everybody understands.
Yeah.
I mean, if we release a chart and it shows like you can match your beads up to the chart and see what it is, I'm sure everybody will be just pleased with that. I don't think they need it separately bagged. They just want to know what they've got, which is understandable.
Yeah, so that will be something that we will.
It will happen.
It's already taken pictures. It just needs to be.
I just need to
labeled.
label the pictures and put them out. I promise I'll do it. I just have been so busy shipping these past couple, like since we landed, I've been shipping.
You have been working very hard. Look at how this looks from just those, like that sunstone is so delightful. I mean, that particular piece too. It's like clear, but with pops of, it's like a hard candy, like a Jolly Rancher. Yeah, and these, I love the subtle colors. These are like, I bet there's none of those left. Those I bet went fast. Yeah, so that looks really, so that's not even like a, what do you call it? Not even a full, look at all that stuff. It's pretty good. I should have kept these separate. I could separate them in a moment. Un momento, right? Anyway, if you were interested in the Sunstone, we relisted it. If you were asking after the Herkimer Diamond, we've also relisted that. So that is added. And I'll wait till next year to get any more because I do not have a way to get it until we go back to Tucson because they live full-time in India. So sometimes you can get, if you can go to a show, but from that one gem dealer specifically, I can only get one time a year. That's for these. And I usually put some back. I have my, I don't want to say secret stash, but I do have a secret stash of these. So we just listed another 10 or 12 of them. And the price is right on those. They're not terribly expensive, but they're double terminated, which is always a good thing. And when I go through the beads, I check them and I look at them to make sure that they're not like broken ones. So you get a nice variety in there of shapes. They run between, let's see, this is probably one of the smallest ones I've seen. And then they run between that and a little bigger than this because they're all a little bit different because they're crystals. They grow like this and then they're drilled. So, pretty cool. All right. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. Cecilia says, I love both of you. Well, I love you, so that's good. Let's see. Melanie says, the Sunstone isn't showing yet, or it's already sold out. Oh, you know what? If that's the case, if it already sold out, I have probably another, I don't want to say, I get greedy with it, because I want to make several necklaces that feature this, because I love it. It's, I don't even know how to describe it. You'll just have to see because it's not, usually when I get sunstone, let me see, I have some here. It's in another kind of, it's more orange. It's like a dark orange with glittery dark, spots. And while I like that, I love this peach candy look where it's a soft, clear jelly opal look. I didn't even put one of those hot pink ones on there. So that's real juicy. This looks, in this light, it doesn't have that translucency, but the light is making it, kind of flattens it out. So if it divides like this, all you have to do is snip it. This is why I do like so many. Wendy says, wouldn't it say sold out? Sometimes it'll say it on there, so you can check it if it's sold out. Debbie says it is gone. Azalea, check it for yourself and see if you're uploading it. And
I know I uploaded it.
well, no, I know you did, but see if it's sold out. All right, that's all you have to do to cut that. If it's dividing, just trim it. So I soaked my thread till it's like this.
You want to know about the Sunstone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sold out.
Oh, it did. Oh, well, okay. Sorry though, it did sell out. I have a few more strands that I can add to but just give me a chance to string more of them up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So here's the color shift I have so far from those. And I'm going to make this with whatever new clasp design that I go with.
Oh, my bad. Actually, you had strung up extras, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And then how many was that?
I had 8.
Oh, I guess I didn't put those up. Okay, you guys, get ready.
Oh,
I'm gonna put
all
those
right.
up.
So listen.
Because I guess I misunderstood you earlier, and I thought I put the right thing up, but I made a mistake. So I just
She's gonna do it right now.
I just relisted that sunstone. There's 8 left, so they are not sold out.
All right, so let's look at this. So this is the next color shifted necklace, and we can look. So it looks like the winner of that, of the arrow. All right, so that's the wax we made to go, and it's not done. This is just the outline, and I think it'll look good. But remember, this is just the general shape. I will still probably, because I love this, I will still probably make this. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that only had like 3 votes for the tab. So that means to me that this is the one to focus on. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can get a good read on what to make by the response. Oh, thank you. Pat says, love that graduation of color. Well, I tend to like some of the similar things. I mean, I guess that's not good, but to me, I like it. Did you list more of that Praisiolite green amethyst? The 3 of those? Might as well ask. Okay, so she did that. That's probably gone though, because that went very, very fast. So just to recap, this is the Mystic Desert Kit. Mala, they're all rounds. This is Praisiolite or green amethyst. This
3
is
of those.
Yeah, so you listed 3?
I listed the 3 and they're still available.
Oh, well, feast your eyes on that. Those sold on Sunday. They sold out really fast, so we listed more. So that they have a nice big hole. They have beautiful clarity. You can see how good they're cut. And they have a hint, just the tiniest hint of green, kind of like a bottle green when you hold it up. You can see it there a little bit against that white. But look at it and it's different. It's different between things. So this is regular quartz. You can see the difference if you look. See, that's going to hold this end so it doesn't go anywhere. It looks similar, but the green, or the green Praisiolite, green amethyst, has a slight seafoam color that is, you can kind of see it in sunlight or in this UV light. I don't know if it's showing up that great on my computer screen, but that's the difference. It has a slight cool green, like a fresh green, and it's really so sparkly. I'm happy with these. And the sunstone, of course. We just listed, so I was mistaken. I thought we'd already listed them, but Azalea just put on, and this is what is on that right here. So you get a mix of shapes. There's some that are a little smaller, like this, and then some that are a hair bigger. So they're a variety of sizes. And I think she took a picture. The picture she took were pretty small, but when I mixed them up, I did a more varied mix so that you got a choice of sizes. So these are also just uploaded. All right, I'm gonna flip this camera around. Hello, my friends. Okay, well, that was pretty fun. So we did a little bit of waxwork, worked on clasp making. You learned the basic bare bones way of how to make a wax blank for something specific. In this case, it was one of the thread necklaces I've been making on, like, this last couple of weeks. I've been making these. I've actually been kind of obsessed with these for like the past, like, I don't even know. It feels like probably 2 years. But I was bored with my clasps and I want to do something new. So we worked on making either the tab shape or this arrowhead. Looks like the arrowhead won in a kind of informal poll. So we will see about how that looks. I probably will try to, I don't know if I'll be able to have it completely done and ready for sale for this Sunday, but I will probably at least have a sample to show. So if you'd like to see, we're doing a casting this week of silver. So if you'd like to tune in Sunday, we're going to fill up that website page with a bunch of silver pieces. So that's something that's going to be fun. I've gotten a few emails saying thank you for putting them on the website, because some folks only watch the replay and they feel kind of like, wow, I didn't really get a chance. And so this is actually, for some folks watching just replays, this has been pretty good. So I like that story. All right, my friends, I will see you on Sunday, and we're going to get busy cracking, making waxes. So we have work to do. All right. Thank you all. We love you out there, and we hope you are creative this week. All right, my friends, we will see you later. Good night.
Bye, everyone.